like what we think was really good in the last years. Some of us, well, we had only 2 in the second semester, right? Did I get it right? 2 of us have never seen any type of gala. Some even joined the last gala or the gala before. Some are graduating in this gala, so we have quite diverse team here, so that's great. And we were talking about things that we want to see that are super important. Can you switch off the light, then you see a little bit better? So I'm recording this, so then later on the people that didn't join could see that. So what I've been creating for you is, or basically what I got from Sebastian Goldschmidt-Böing. He showed me how the gala worked in the previous in his year in 24. He gave me some hints, and he gave me a Miro board, and connected to that also some things for documentation, what works super well, I think. So I put that on the Miro board as well, and I started to, oh yeah, it's all locked, so you cannot destroy anything. So what I did here, the yellow post-it means I am not here today. No yellow post-it means you should be here. No yellow post-its and not here means I forgot to check the spaces, or I had a car accident, or whatever. So maybe you just put like Antonia, Niels, whatever, your name, second year, first year, whatever, what you said. So I think it's nice to get to know each other very briefly here. Basically, I think we will have 3 levels of communication, or 4 platforms. We have the spaces. So let's see how much we're using it. In the spaces, you will find the link to the Miro board, and we have a Skibo. In the Skibo, I just started to put some plans, some floor plans already. So this is where we're sharing the resources. And I think it's super important to have a WhatsApp group. So I created already a WhatsApp group. So later on, you can go here, check that, and join that. So why? Just like for very fast communication, because I just see that Spaces doesn't work for fast communication. Yeah, I mean, it's not sharing long messages. Who can give me a hand right now? Hey, where are you? We have a different room, whatever. So all of that stuff. So we should all be in there. Yeah.
Or maybe for this also the kind of design prize experience. We also wrote emails to the nominees, because there are, for those who don't know, there are also graduates from Cologne, not just from KISS, exhibition in the museum. And in the end, we also had a WhatsApp group, and the communication after we started the WhatsApp group was way faster. So maybe think about it also with communicating to the graduates, because it's just more convenient than reading emails and sending emails and answering emails. And there could be a mix, of course. They have to maybe read some emails, but big learning.
Yeah. So let's see. But I think amongst us, it's unless one of us says, I'm not using WhatsApp at all. Okay, the ones that are not here, no, but some people just use, I said, I'm only using Signal for which reason ever. So here I put the agenda and the task for next time, actually. And on the Miro, I put some black post-its. So watch out for the black post-its. They can guide you to certain points and ask you to contribute or to comment. Are you all very knowledgeable in using Miro? Of course. I think it would be super helpful if you would all log in with your name and not unknown visitor or green painter. Why? Because then you can put a comment function and say at Philip or at Niklas or at Ole, and it will pop up, and whenever you come back, you see it again. So we can use this as well. Hey, what are you doing here? Because in the end, the graphics needs to know what the exhibition is doing and so on. And I think that can be really helpful. I mean, even if we meet in person. So let's see. I learned also from Sebastian, there was one very organized person. She made lists, but nobody put stuff on the lists. So we have to see. So, but we have a room. We can also put a whiteboard in a room or something like that. So Let me give you a bit of a framework. Elements of the event. So I think if we change something, I would love to change the name. It also used to be graduation show or grad show or whatever. And I just said it's not a gala, it's an event to celebrate the work and personality of our graduates. It's a grad show that could be a bit more professionally oriented, not just dada, dear parents, and easier to handle in the same way if this isn't it's a grad show to put emphasis on the graduates and their achievements, without reading 3 minutes of what this great guy has done. And without him, the Gute Stube wouldn't have been possible. But by the way, we could also sort of highlight this, for example. Grad show is the term internationally used. What do we have? Let's see what we can celebrate. We can celebrate 35 years of KIST. Nobody did up to now. Yeah. We can celebrate 30 years of graduates. I forgot here. We can have around 15 Kölner Design Prize nominations. And this would be something that I want to put on the table. Nobody knows. If you're walking through the exhibition, you see the red dot. And this would be my only suggestion I want to put on the table, where I think maybe we should not treat all people equal. If we have 15 people nominated for the Kölner Design Prize, for those of you who are not knowing, Kölner Design Prize is a prize in Cologne where all the Cologne design schools, 5 or 6, four as of now, are allowed to nominate 15% of their graduates. The only thing, if they are nominated, they need to go to an exhibition in the Museum of Applied Arts. So we had years where some schools nominated no single person because they wanted to avoid to say, well, those 10 should be your best. Oh, this is a crappy school. I guess this is the reason. It is a political decision, and it has been brought up by a person who's called Mr. Winkler or Professor Winkler. He set up a foundation, and he gave a lot of money to the students, to the graduates. So on the very last day before the exhibition opening, the professors are walking in a tour, and they decide who should be the nominations. And I think for the students, it's really important because the nominations then will be able to present. But I mean, nominated for the Kölner Design Prize is a good thing. And then they will present in front of a jury, and maybe they will win up to, I don't know, 10,000 euro or something. 13 now. Yeah, it used to be 50. 35,000 was the first prize. This was really, we should invite that guy, Mark Puff, who won it. But nobody knows, even the parents don't know. So actually, this is a question we have to talk about, whether we want to treat all people equal or whether we want to highlight some of the people. Why to highlight? Because they achieved something special. And I was also thinking, okay, we cannot talk about all the projects, but maybe we can talk about some projects. We can also highlight the interface design projects, but maybe that's not so fair or whatever. I just bring this to the table. Why? Because I'm looking for things that might be interesting also for students to join, or maybe even for professionals to join and say, wow, that's really interesting. We have this guy, Winkler. He said, I want to give some money for the international students. Anybody get a Winkler funding of you? No, it's just last year. So he said, well, I want to give 3,000 euro to the students abroad. Just give me the best 12. So we were selecting 12. And then the first one said, oh, so they just have to confirm that they received the money. And I said, oh, I got 5,000. So he just gave them 5,000. 12 times 5 is 60,000, you know? And I think he's very willing to support us. So, and we said, well, but what will he get in return? At least let's do an exhibition or show. So all the students that were joining were submitting a poster right now. So this is the minimum thing. But my idea was to use at least the exhibition system to showcase this, maybe even at an earlier moment, and then bring this person in and say, look, this could be the exhibition system for you. We need 8,000 euro or 12,000 euro. And then we might get it. Because, it will be very hard, if not impossible, to get at the 8,000 euro for the exhibition system. I have no idea how much it will be.
Yeah.
So that would be one idea. I want to invite international guests because you want international credits. The question will be what to do with the international guests. They cannot do a workshop, whatever. And we had people on stage doing some funny things. But also I was, for example, thinking of, can we have something like a tiny little program during the evening for those who would be interested in. There would be a place, for example, where two international guests, or one international and one national, or one international and one professor, are talking about the Cologne Design Prize winners, or they pick one work they like most and have a conversation, and maybe 15 people are listening. If we're sitting in the stage down there, also not more than 50 people or 40 people are listening because they want to chat and have food and whatever. Plus, we have a farewell. Kirsty is very bad in doing farewells. But I would love to give Professor Marker a farewell. Maybe she doesn't even want to show up. But I want to change this. Well, we had it before. I think she's an amazing person. She's been here for a while. Everybody knows her in the whole world. So the least thing is to create an event slot for her. And we have to tell her early enough. In former times, not all the professors were coming. If she's coming, I'm not coming. Maybe we can arrange that they're coming. And I would even be happy to have some people who are not teaching here anymore to have them here as well. Yeah, it's Hato Grosse, Uta Brandes. You might know her from Gender and Design. She was for the In Trouble there as well. And Günther Hondrich, a very grumpy old man. Nevertheless, very interesting. Of course, we can just sit them and give them a chair or ask them to do something. Maybe they won't juggle, they will do something else. So just like, okay, those are basically the ingredients we can use to mix something. And my suggestion would be the character, celebrating the graduates and or through their work, parents as guests, but maybe not as the main audience, because the parents don't get the point, I think, in most cases. Would your parents understand what you would do here?
They can't speak German or English. No.
Okay. But besides that?
They're not so interested in art, so.
Okay. I mean, those of you who joined the parkour opening, I mean, I really like the atmosphere. Former students, former graduates were coming there. What is also great to have job opportunities for the ones that are leaving. They are interested in the GradShow, in the parkour, but there's not enough time to walk around because you have your beer. And I was thinking of maybe finding a way of bringing this together. And of course, what we are doing, I think, in the previous time, also using the graduates' thesis presentation as an exhibition. It's in the same room. So basically, we want to have the parkour done with and by the graduates. So if you're presenting your work in the end, and anyway, you have to put everything up for the exhibition, also for being able to be nominated for the Kölner Design Prize, you will get that space here in room 119 and you're already doing it. And we're supporting you. What is happening here? I think this could help us to reduce some work. It has been done previously as well, but to really use precisely those rooms. And then to say only selected non-thesis works will be shown, also because of the workload. We decide how many works will be shown. If it's only 3, it's only 3. So the team that is curating the exhibition is deciding this. I just had a conversation, for example, with a student who wants to do an SIP about changing in clothes and adapting them through sewing them or whatever. So maybe this could be part of the event, whatever. We could think of what we could bring in. We could bring in a band contest. I have no idea. Excellent photos of the works as a benefit for graduates. So I think that could be something, because I think the quality of our exhibition really went down. And right now we have the time. I was thinking of using the 17th and not the 24th. So this would be right after the presentation. And some people killed me for that. It would have had some benefits. I will come on that. So it will be the 24th right now. So there will be excellent photos of the works. So the graduates might get that, yeah, as a package or whatever. So but you were just taking, when you said you were taking photos, you were taking shots and impressions of the people walking around. Yeah. I don't know who in the photo studio can do that, or if you have an amazing photographer, if you have to pay somebody, but at least that you get a package about the work. And I like how, for example, in previous, also in the in the gala of Sebastian, some might remember, they put all the candidates on Instagram before, step by step, each day one. I think it was really great promotion for them as well. And if I would be a graduate, I would love to know whom can I invite. And sometimes, I don't know how you think, if you invite your parents, you don't invite your friends, or the other way around. But maybe we find a smart way where we say, okay, there is a certain audience. So we never had press there because it's deadly boring. Yeah, but we could have press there.
If I was to the top, like they made photos of every single person posted on one people that they and this a lot of
Mm.
So this could be that it's much more preparation.
Yeah. No, I'm just putting it up. So what could be main elements that we're working with? Of course, the exhibition of the graduates' works, the exhibition of 12 selected international students' posters funded by the Winkler Foundation, to really also to tell the other students. I mean, for example, some students were asking what were the selection criteria. It was not really super fair, but we're trying to be more transparent about that, and it would be an opportunity. Those did it, and for sure we can even ask them, if we want to have a little program to ask them to do like a super short picture kucha, like my 120 seconds about my time in Japan, my 120 seconds about my time in Taipei. Not for all, but maybe we have a stage or a corner for that. Drinks from the bar, as always. We will have food. Maybe it's self-service. It's way, way, way easier. And I think a Kölner Design Prize appreciation, not only for Winkler, but also for the ones that are nominated, actually, to highlight that a bit. Handover certificates includes snapshot in the thesis work. Maybe we show a little bit behind this is the thesis work and some keywords, whatever. Of course, party for the graduates, always after show. And this is the key thing that you have to start thinking about from today on, where to do it. There's a big list from Sebastian's event that you really have a look at it and book it as early as possible. And farewell, Birgit, who gives the laudatio. If you want to be mean, you can ask Andreas Frede to do so. Or we can ask Laubersheimer or whatever. And I have no idea, but I think it would be nice. Tombola, I would say only if we make money. And I learned that Stadtrat is always giving a bicycle. They're happy to, and it's 800 euro. And if we make some money, we can do that as well. And there are some options like presentation of graduate works by graduates, Pecha Kucha, 3 minutes. It's an option, not on the main stage. Maybe it's less, it's 1 minute. Maybe a fashion show. I was talking to Patricia Hepp. She will give a midterm project, and she said she can have a fashion show in the end. And we once had a fashion show, and I think this is really nice as well. It's always very appreciated, yeah, because it's something that's happening here. It's something that's appealing and interesting and different. And we could even have a small conversation, I don't know, about future designers or co-design. I have no idea. Super, super small. I was talking about whom could we invite from my perception. I'm really happy there are always points. We could ask design studios where graduates are in senior positions to come. We could ask the director of the MAG, Petra Hesse. I know Mike Richter, who's the president of the German Design Council, yeah, to ask him to come here. I'm a board member of the Cumulus Association. Maybe we can ask somebody to join here. I'm already inviting colleagues from our international partner schools. I talked to P-Sign in France, the Sustainable Design School. For sure, somebody from Bratislava will come, from AFAD. Maybe somebody from Konstfack in Stockholm. So they will just come here. So we have the opportunity to do something with them. Yeah. And just this morning, I had a conversation with the university in Bangkok because we have no partners in Thailand. And responsible person said she will be in Germany in July. I said, please come on 24th. And if we sign an MOU, we can even make this as an event. I'm working right now again with university in Venice. KIST had a studio in Venice. Some might know in former times. Because I want to work together with a Chinese university to make a program in Europe and in Venice. So we could also think of inviting them, whatever, to keep that open. I was already talking to some alumni and say, hey, come on, how about coming again to one of the famous shows? But they never come to the gala. They always come to the parkour opening. So I talked to Tom Bieling. He's a professor in Offenbach. I talked to Axel Steinkuhle. He gave a talk here and was very disappointed because only 4 students were showing up, but he's really an amazing person. I think he's a bit ADHS, but always power, energy, 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 energy. He used to be the CEO of Everbit in Cologne. We could talk to Annette Diekenthaler. She was IDO San Francisco and now has a professorship at TU Munich. And I said, maybe some people that are in senior positions in companies like Tom Scharfs. He did his diploma with me some 15 years ago and is now brand manager at IKEA globally, you know, but he's living here. I mean, to invite them. And all of them I met in previous parkour openings. Why not having them and giving them a bit a role? And what would be cool, Gesche Joost. Who knows Gesche Joost? She was a professor for design. She built up the design research lab at the UDK in Berlin. And she did her diploma with me in 2002. And today she is president of the Goethe Institute. Maybe inviting some people like that as well. Of course, we have to offer something. We don't need to do that, but I have a lot of connections and network, and this might be really interesting to bring those people together. Maybe some service designers. This is really open for, if you have any idea, it would be cool to have this or that person. Why not? So what would this mean for, well, the key thing that Gerd and I wanted to suggest as a change is to put the parkour opening and the gala together, to do everything on the same day, to have no Thursday evening. And this would lead up to something like to have a reception and welcome. Yes, first thing that. Second thing, I leave it completely up to the group to not have everything in the courtyard. So there is one wonderful thing that we did. I don't know, maybe it was 2016 or 2014. We did the ceremony in the aula of Ubering 48. Anybody of you has ever been there? It's for 500 people. It's not so nice. You're sitting there and something, but it's a very prestigious thing. We could even just think of this as a backup option, actually, because I just want to avoid that we are in trouble if it's raining, just to sort of leave it up. And as a suggestion, like to say, we could meet at Ubering, welcome, reception, graduates, parents, guests, and then we have 2-hour maximum certificate ceremony. Of course, there will be some food and drinks. What I said, graduates should be really honored with what they achieved at KIST, the thesis. We highlight outstanding works, KDP nominations. We make this interesting and relevant for design guests, so it will be about the content as well. We could really think about that. And to have thesis visuals, how can it be interesting for alumni and experts? I don't know if we can achieve that, because right now it isn't. If we just say you were amazing at Gute Stube, this is not interesting at all. But to get, maybe it's also only just 1 hour, yeah, like a brief show, I don't know. And then we would have the parkour opening. This would happen here in the courtyard. We would open the parkour. We will have an exhibition of the international works of Winkler. Will we also show selected projects? So new. This has been the most successful event in the last years, generating the most money, and we can do it in the same day to bring the parkour and the show together. And I think it's a bit less work because otherwise you're already exhausted on Friday if you did this on Thursday. So the parkour would be a key event. Yeah, we'll have a schedule allowing to join. We could have a schedule what we do. We could have room 11, for example, where we say there is, what did I put here? We could have, like guests, like 4 design experts, every full hour we can have a 15-minute conversation there. You can go there, but you don't have to. I was talking with Gerd and we said, what if, and I think it's even Sebastian who said it, what if on every floor we would have a bar? Yeah, a small bar, and maybe the professors are serving the drinks there. So you can go there. Want to attract the people to go up there and to walk around and to have the conversation, to really have 4 super rich hours. And of course, everybody can come down from the tombola or whatever. All of this needs to be, here the prof bars. The question is, how do we deal with graduates and families paying the full price? So what do you pay for in the end? Because you're not sitting there and eating the falafel or something else. That's something that needs to be discussed. The new is we don't need to be afraid of the weather, as we'll be in the courtyard, entrance room, and room 11 with spaces to encounter. It could be all sort of very fluid inside and outside. I think history has shown that we don't need room 11 as an exhibition space because most time people were anyway just going in there with a drink and chatting. And I think one of the next things we should do is also really to walk around and have a look at all the floors together and all the rooms to get a shared understanding of that. And I would say new is also that we avoid to have 300 people in the courtyard and only 50 to 70 that are listening to the program. And I think there are some highlights like the second semester event or something like that that can happen there on like a main stage. But if we don't have to sit all there, things would be way, way, way easier. We would allow the visitors to take the time to see the works that are exhibited, what hasn't happened before. And I walked maybe half an hour. I saw the exhibition. Anyway, it was closed. It was closed when the gala was opening, the exhibition was closed. So basically the parents don't need to come on Saturday. And we could really think of a schedule. So I think I've been offering you a couple of elements right now, and sort of we can play with those elements and think how we can make a nice program and schedule, how we can plan the event. Of course, some things can be kicked out. So of course, I was offering way more than what we can do. And well, this would allow, I think, in a very organic way, as I also know from a lot of conferences and events, that you can either have a conversation or you go there for 15 minutes and listen to something, and then you go back and you have something to talk about. And then, of course, you have the closing, music, farewell, chill out, fashion show, whatever, how to do it. And then we have the after show party. And here we also might have more people attracting because people might come in from Berlin or from Munich. They don't come for a Thursday, but they might come for a Friday if it's interesting. And they might also join the after show party. So sorry for all the input actually. And we wanted to share this as a suggestion with you. And I think that's a key thing we need to discuss. I got blocked this room in Ubering 48. It was the free full day on the 17th. On the 24th, it's only from 2:30 on. But we could have it. So we should have a look and talk about that. And you should just digest what you think of really putting it together. I talked to Frede and he said, please do it. We want to do the same thing next year. And to me, it would be how we can really shift a bit the thing from the parents event to something that is amazing for the parents, but even better for the graduates. And I think if we want to bring in designers from the outside or alumni, we need to bring in something interesting that is somehow related to design. What is like the top design works or little conversations or a little, I mean, internationals talking about, I like this work most. We could have a focus on social design or whatever, completely up to what we are curating. So the last thing to do is, and this is what I just really adapted, is basically the teams that we have to build. We will have a team of production and build up, and you will see, and I copied it from Sebastian and I added some more, like what is the job of this team. And each team should have 2 contacts. The contact is like, okay, if team production wants to build, talk to team graphics and communication. So then we have the names, because otherwise, so basically they are the ones, and this is also the ones we need to meet. At least one of those contacts we need to meet every week to say what's going on. And here you can always put in your names right now. And I go through the teams, production and build up, graphics and communication. Here's a bit more stuff. What is part of that? We have parkour and exhibition, plus potential subgroup on exhibition system. It's like that one. I mean, from curation, bars, all room planning, blah, 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 what's part of that. And then like ceremony and experience somehow. I mean, what I said, how really design the event as such. And then food and drinks for sure is an own thing, actually. What are we serving and how are we serving it? And budget and organization. Here we just need maybe 2 people working on that. And then breakdown, very easy. All of us have to do the breakdown and to dismantle the exhibition. And after show party, here I copied you all the events, the event locations that they were looking at. I don't know all of them. Klubheim Olympia is super nice. I mean, make up your mind, sort of discuss it, and maybe we come up with a voting, or each of you says, yeah, Klubheim Olympia would be nice. Give them a call, ask if it's available, how much it is, and so on. I think those are sort of really cool places. It would be good if it wouldn't be that far from Kisdi. And I have no idea how many places the last ones already had. But in here, you will find exactly all the information also from the Gala 24, and including the people we could talk to. And I think this is, yeah, and then we have to see whether we have something like an organizational board, teachers and head of departments. It's like, I don't know, sort of, once again, we might also have a meeting with all the professors to share them what's going on. And so, yeah, here's the old thing. I built a wonderful schedule. So today we are 17 weeks away. And the green ones are the days we meet. Maybe we can meet on the 9th. I'm not sure if I am available, but if all the others are available, I think it's great to have just a 1-hour follow-up. Here I will be on travel, but you can meet anyway, and then Gerd will be around. And then we'll meet every Thursday. So we just block the Thursday. And as said, I would, let's say, look for the afternoon, but I think we will very fast come to, okay, I meet you in the afternoon and I meet you at 10 o'clock. But you know that you keep the Thursday free for that. And you see, I put in my travel, so maybe if you're away, you can put that as well. Then here we can think of, once we exactly know what we need, we open up another midterm for helpers or short term or whatever, and I think we will find the people to do so. And then sometimes we also might meet on a Tuesday. And then here we'll have the exams. And you see, it's 2 weeks more than last time, plus 2 weeks more because we are earlier right now. So we have a lot of time. I copied and adapted that also from the last year. But I think it's really important. And then we just have a counter. Okay, 0 weeks to go. So that's basically it's 1 week to go. We even have 18 weeks until that Friday. Yes.
So you can put kiss off in like 2 weeks, okay. Because as we did that,
Yeah, but
get rid of all of the stuff we had.
don't ask me to do everything. Completely right. I said just after the exams, that's the moment where also the students doing the exams are moving around. But we need to understand the exams basically also at the exhibition, at the parkour setup. And I'm really happy that we have 1, 2, maybe 3 people that are also graduating. So this could be also the binding. Oh, yeah, okay. The binding link. And that's also one learning that Sebastian told me, meet very early the graduates, to bring them on board. First of all, expectation management. I want to avoid anything like, oh, this year it should only be 1 day. They don't want to cater us. I think really made up a lot of thoughts how we can make it a really good thing for them as well. And some people are asking for change as well. And I think once we know a bit more, we can sort of share it with them. But because we need to work hand in hand, and it's always painful. We don't get their photos, we don't get their text, we don't get it because, of course, they're just focusing on graduating. But getting this makes things way, way, way easier. And I'm not the master of the Miro. I mean, basically, I used it as a preparation, and we have to see. I'm pretty much a fan of working in a room, and in this room also having stuff printed out and whatever. As soon as this is newly renovated up there, some of you have seen. I thought we can be there today, but they're putting in a new ceiling, so the acoustic is a bit better. We can bring in my big screen. We can whatever we need. Please don't write on the walls if it's new painted. So we'll be happy to sort of meet there, and you'll be happy to work there. At a later moment, it would be important for you have to leave. Okay. Yes. Okay. Maybe see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, maybe. Okay. Thank you. But we are through in a minute. Yes. So. Any feedback, comment from your side? What is your first thought?
The idea of putting it together. In the last years, I always was confused about which is which and which starts when and who can come to which event. And if you just put it together, it makes sense. And also the point with Friday against Thursday, I think more people tend to be relaxed on Friday, Thursday, and stay longer, go to the after show. I like the idea.
You are our key stakeholder. No pressure.
Sounds good. Maybe at one moment you said like maybe also more students will come to the whole event. I think one reason, for example, for the gala, I mean, we're allowed to go to the gala without buying a ticket, and the ticket is like expensive for many people.
Yeah, that's
so. You probably have to find a way to maybe distinguish between paying guests and like really student guests.
I think we will have some. Some.
We had that in Canopy as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to do it in a certain way. I mean, this is all about the pricing structure. Yeah. I mean, either we will have, and it shouldn't be too complicated, because in the end, and this was really interesting for me, what Sebastian said, we made the money on the parkour opening because the people drink way more. So let's put that, and this is what the people are really asking for as well. So we make the money with buying, with selling the drinks as well. And then we could think of making the gala ticket super cheap and asking, okay, if you want to have food, this is 10 euro or 15 euro. I have no idea. It's a flat rate. I think we can only work with flat rates for food. Otherwise, it's super complicated. again, it has to also be an honor, because in former times, always the graduates got the ticket for free. And again, they might be very disappointed. Oh, now we don't get it for free. Of course, they will get the food for free. I have no idea how to do that, but I was asking me exactly the same, and I think it was on one of the stars as well. What is new and what can it bring? We have to make a distinction between a student coming or an alumni from the outside. Of course, he wants to pay for his beer, and if he wants to get food and is not a parent or not a graduate, he can buy the band, and then everything is free or something like that. Super feasible in the end. It's just like, I mean, if putting it together, this has consequences. And we made one suggestion right now for the consequence. We can work around that. And another big change is now everything, I think, from the perspective of the graduates, is built around the ceremony of handover. What is stretched and a bit like chewing gum, actually. What if we condense that, but not to get rid of it, but really make it more like, okay, those are your 60 minutes or 90 minutes or whatever. And ask ourselves, I have no answer to that, but I think we should ask ourselves, can we make this ceremony as something that could be interesting for a student and for a graduate? It can be interesting if we learn a little bit about the topic, and if there's maybe even, I don't know, or we just say, okay, in the last 30 minutes, there's a panel conversation. Some internationals and others are talking about the KDP winners, something like that. Because if you haven't been at KISS for 3 years, you come back, you want to know what's new. Or people ask me, which works did I supervise, or what is really good? So if we have something like a curated selection, it could also be a tour, whatever. And I think another new thing is that we don't ask the people to stick to their seats all the time and wait until that we say that we have a certain structure, that we have a small stage where every hour there's like a 10 minutes conversation, or there's a pecha kucha. You can go there, and I think it could be super vibrant. Yeah. The only thing is I have no idea how many people we can expect, if it's 300 or 400 or 500. Because we have to fill in, this is the bureaucracy side, the so-called one-pager of the TH Köln. I received it today. I asked Frede to do that for me, not because I cannot do it, but he's always complaining. Will alcohol be sold? Yes, no. So there are some things we have to ask for, a shank license and all these things. So all those things are already, as far as I know, they're in there. Very early, we have to ask for the fridge cars, the Kühlwagen, because they might be sold out if there's, I don't know, summer jam or something like that. But most important thing is the after show location, I think. And then to think about how do we feel. So let's decide that very, very, very latest about either not using the courtyard or only using the courtyard if there's good weather. We have to think, that's a learning from Sebastian, whole building of the stage for all this event is a big, big, big effort. It's a lot of work to build it with the light, with everything. I think we should have a band, we should have that, but still it's a different thing if we have it for a band, with the downside, if the music is too loud, we'll have problem with the neighbors. But it's always, the band is cool, it's good to have it. I noted down, I forgot, we have former Professor Andreas Muxel. I would like to invite him as well. When he had his farewell on that gala, he was playing with his band from Cologne. That was really cool. So therefore, right now, I think it's all very much interconnected, but therefore I was sharing with you here, okay, put yourself in right now, and you saw it first, so you're here right now, so you can do that. Put yourself in this. Put your names in here, there. And as said, minimum 2 teams, maximum 3. It doesn't make sense if you're in 4 teams, but not only in 1. That was also what Sebastian told me. Because if students are in 2 teams, there's a very organic way of exchange between the teams. Yeah? And then each team has 2 responsible people. And I will share this, what I've been recording right now, also for those ones who haven't been here, and maybe then have a follow-up meeting. And right now, really think about, hopefully, I mean, Sebastian told me he had 15 people that wanted to go in the communication team. It's really good, but we don't need 15 people there. But hearing what you're interested in and hearing what you can bring in, I have the feeling that we have a quite good bandwidth that is distributed quite well according to the topics. Plus, we have a lot of people who are not here now. For the ones that want to get the international credits, let's put it somehow that we just have 8 or 6 or 7 that get the international credits. I mean, to me, it's like bringing in those international guests and maybe having something like an international conversation. Of course, it's not a super international project, but I know that you also need some trigger to come here. And it's not only that we have international students or speak English, but also that we are attracting international guests. And I think that's really, we are so connected worldwide. People love us. So inviting them, and we had it, but they're just on stage. They said, oh, that's nice. But can they have a certain role? So this could be something that I could discuss with you guys. Okay, so now I need a drink. I talked quite long. And